All the people putting hair down to piss off the bros. How is it going? I'm in New York City. We saw Chicago last night, and it was nice. So today we're gonna go see Stonewall Inn and walk around Christopher Street, I think is what it's called. It's supposed to be good fun to be had. Oh, yay, I'm glad you're inspired to get out your crochet hooks again. I'm inspired to come to New York City more often. People always, well, it's true. I don't celebrate enough. Because I never know what to do. Like, I already have everything I need. So now I just decided, oh, next time I really need to celebrate something, I'm just going to take myself on the train down to New York City and go watch the Broadway show. Spend a day walking around like the fashion jewelry district and the thrift store and then come back. I don't think I'm going to get to the wholesale jewelry this time, but I think next time I come, I'll be able to find some good stuff for making up the love bomb collars. Thanks for listening to my butt. At some point, I'm going to have to record the next one. And it's not looking forward to something. I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you all. I'm afraid that it's rather good. I want music in the future. YouTube starts being terrible. Chicago was so cool. I'm even more inspired for writing our musical, Uncultured, the Cult Baby musical, veterans included. We'll probably lose the uncultured, and it will just be the Cult Baby musical. Um, no one's been here. I'll probably go back inside to my hotel. It might be a little bit quieter. Yeah, that's all my things. Guess I'll have 14 bags because I'm a bag lady. Have one does. I really don't want to stop spending. Right. Let's go find a better suit. Broadway was amazing. Chicago was amazing. The show, not the city. I mean, I hear the city's amazing too. I've only been there once to run a half marathon. It was pretty fun. It was loud here. I don't know what I would do without the noise canceling headphones. Hopefully, this is better. I just walked. Okay. I don't know if the connection's going to be any better. Yes, my book is available on audio. It's on Spotify Premium if you already subscribe to that, and or anywhere else you get your audiobooks. Here we go. You can go in timeout for 24 hours. All right. So now to do the other sleeve. I can't do it my crochet hook. I swear I cannot keep a crochet hook to save my life. Blue hair does say it all, and you know what it says? It says thousands of dollars. Y'all have given me thousands of dollars because you can't keep yourself from telling me how stupid you think I am with blue hair. Ha 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 ha. You can suck my dick. Yeah, Billy koalas. Right. As we said, we're turning off the two parents because they're just silly. Mhm, 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 mhm. Yes. No messages. Bye bye. I mean, time score is a little annoying. I think next time I come, I definitely will not set my happy hour in Times Square because all the New Yorkers hate it. But it's very convenient for me, and that's usually how I decide. Mm. So we, came into Port Authority. Our hotel is like a 7-minute walk away. Took our little backpacks, walked ourselves over. I walked all over New York City. It's been fun. So good. And it's so nice to see like 40-year-old women being the lead actors. And like I probably knew that the age was older for Broadway, but I didn't like really know no. Um Anyways, I have to see everything that's on Broadway and I have to write my musical. So I'm now like renewed and invigorated. And I think most importantly, my 16-year-old trans brother from Texas had a good time. So we will be sending him home full of memories and Chicago posters and finals and stuff. Still can't hear. I have a hard time speaking loudly when I'm around other people. I was in Dallas in March. It's really hard with social media because it's hard to like, there's no way to like put information out to everyone. But anyway, I am from Dallas if I'm from anywhere. So I usually go back to Dallas. Okay, so this weekend, Mr. Knitting Cult Lady is going to buy the Knitting Cult RV. And then on July 27th, we are going to drive from DC up to Toronto. I think we're going to spend like 2 days in Toronto. Definitely going to have an event in Toronto. Then we're going to go to across Canada, all the way to Vancouver. I know we're going to stop in like somewhere in Winnipeg. We're going to stop in Calgary. Anyway, there's going to be a thing on my website where you can track where we're going. I am going to personalize it. So I'm going to put the photo that's up here on my profile if you're on TikTok. So it's gonna be that. That's like my brand photo with the Republican dog. And then there's gonna be a coming soon or Pelting of America cover with the QR code and like pre-sale information. So on August 5th, I'll do a big dramatic reveal where I like yank the thing down and show you all the covers. But the Canadians will get to get a sneak peek early. Um, I think we'll have a lot of interesting, fun conversations with Canadians as we drive through with a van that says Culting of America. So, you know, I'm all about the kismet, making room for things to happen. Anyway, New York City is very fun. It'd be sad to go back to DC, but also I like my home and I miss my kid. So, no, you know, how many drafts did I write for the manuscript? Oh my gosh. I mean, there's not even any way to know because we had the rewriters. But so basically, I would write the first draft and then I would, no, I brain dumped the whole book while we were driving around the country the last time, and I thought I had a first draft of everything, and I did, but that was way further away from manuscript. So then when we sold the book and we actually started working on it, then I would go through it probably 3 times, like 3 drafts, and then once it was basically as good as I could make it, I would send it to my co-writer, Brandy, and she would, polish some stuff, but mostly she would just ask me 1,000 questions, and then I had to learn that she didn't want the answers, she wanted me to put them into the story. So then I learned that, and so then she would do that, and then I would do another round, and then I would go to Amy, the other co-writer, and Amy really polishes stuff, so then I would, uh and then she would work on it, and then she would send it back to me, and I would put all her changes in and do one more go of it, and then I would send it to the editor, and then the editor would do her stuff, and so it was very involved, but also a very good experience because one of the problems that we usually have when coming out of cult is, like, connecting our, um, emotions to our stories, because of course, we had to deaden all of our emotions to kind of survive the cult. So it was good, and then the other reason I used co-writers is because one of my biggest pet peeves on cult books and military books is when they just drop a bunch of vernacular that you can't understand, like, "What? Why are we doing this?" So I wrote a book with a couple civilians that didn't know any of it, so they would have to ask the question. Um, and Amy Reed is also co-writing my next 2 books, so she's co-written President of America with me, and then she has co-written Un-American, which is the book that I'm starting on this fall and will publish next. And if you want to get a 6-hour sneak preview of it, you can listen to my video book on my Patreon. Trump did not sign an EO that says all, I mean, maybe he signed an EO that says all borders are closing, but you can't close American borders. That's just silly. No, that wouldn't go to my trip. Just try. Just try to keep 27 years of veteran experience from coming back into the United States. Go ahead. Go ahead, Donnie. Yeah. So the borders in America cannot be closed. I think we all know this if we think about it just a little bit. Um, the roads in America cannot be monitored. If they were to do that, all you would have to do is go tear up the train lines. And then while they're policing the train lines, then you go wherever you want. Next musical I have to see is definitely Six. I like have to see that one, as an autistic white lady who has never came out of her Tudor England phase. Um, yeah, and I watch it. I watch Six all the time, YouTube, and I worry that I will be like disappointed by the actors, but I will try not to be. My book is called Uncultured. It is available anywhere you get books, also on audio on your Spotify Premium and Audible, etc. It is about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and going into the cult of the US Army. And just in case anyone needed to hear this, it's not my Bible. So someone on Instagram, out of love, was like, "Isn't it a cult lady trying to start her own little cult?" And I just think it's funny that people just think that popularity equals manipulation. Like, that is really says something about the world that we're in. Or I would say people just think that what makes a cult is obsession, and that's Not at all. What makes a cult is not sales, it's deceptive sales. Um, but most importantly, what makes a cult is the exploitation of labor. But she said, no, she's doing it to sell her book, and which we could say is her Bible. And she always appeals to her own authority. And I said, excuse me, my love, I have quite a popular series called Devotions with Daniela, where I read and sell other people's books, specifically because I track, I track that at least 25, if not 50% of my content comes from outside of me. Um, my next book has a 36-page bibliography. Like, cult leaders' worldview Bibles don't have a 36-page bibliography. It's just them spouting their BS. Anyway, I liked the way she posed the question because she wasn't really like, is knitting cult lady a cult leader? She was just like, has she analyzed herself? And the answer is, I have. And I wrote the whole 20-part Guru Gotcha checklist, which is going to be available in Pulsing of America, but you can also get it at my website, www.uncultureyourself.com, along with all my other lists of culty things. And of course, I analyze that. And it's also funny, like when I say to people, like, beware of anyone who knows a lot about the bad guys. And they're all like, oh, so we should beware of you? Yeah. Yes. Yes. If I started a cult, it would be the best one. So if I invite you to my compound, maybe don't come, or at least go home after the weekend. But most specifically, I don't take free labor and I pay my people very, very well. And I personally believe that because cults are all about labor, that means if you pay and overpay specifically, then you can't start a cult. Um, and I don't mean I'm paying you 300,000 a year, so now I own you. I'm meaning like pay people well. The 36-page bibliography will be in the book. It might turn out to be less pages in the actual book, right? Because this is the document and everything's double spaced. And actually, when we're writing manuscripts, we usually talk about it in terms of word count until it gets put into the actual book. But it's my book and I can do what I want to. Right. And even this, people ask me all the time, okay, intentional living community, what's wrong with it? First of all, why is it always isolated? Second of all, how are you making sure that you're not exploiting people's labor? Everyone works for free and everyone pitches in. No, 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 no more than 20% of your work week or your salary should be going to your housing. So if you are living somewhere for free and you are putting 40 hours a week into volunteer work, you're being exploited. And it's always more than 40 hours. Literally, if you are living somewhere for free and you are giving someone more than 10 hours of work a week for that, you are being exploited. And by the way, organizations and leaders, if you would have to pay an individual to do that work for you, it's exploitation if you're getting people in your organization to do it for free. Take your volunteering and shove it. There's a reasonable amount of volunteering, and then there's what most nonprofits and religious organizations in America do, and it's BS. Absolute BS. Yeah, 75% of income going to housing is one of the problems with America right now. That is for sure, because that is not livable, sustainable. That's why it's a housing crisis. That's why capitalism is a cult, I believe. Not capitalism, like obviously that's an ideology, but I think the system of capitalism in America is like a cult system. I actually think when we say the cult of, right? We don't say the cult of children of God. We say the children of God cult, but we say the cult of patriarchy, the cult of white supremacy. And I think those are systems. And then The number one thing that gets compared to what I talk about is teaching followed by nursing, right? And I was thinking of those as like, okay, obviously they're not cults because they're their careers. A cult is a group, but it tells me there's a lot of coercive control. Then people really started saying like the healthcare system, the teaching system. And I'm like, oh, so maybe we do have the cult of education and the cult of medicine. And cults always hate medical care. So that's interesting. Oh, I'm glad I'm a good sleeping aid. You might be trying to insult me with that, but I don't care. Many people fall asleep listening to my stuff, and then I get hundreds of views. No, I'm not going to speak to you about the Iranian nuclear program. No, 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 no. I don't want to go to jail. Someone tried to be like, oh, now you'll speak about the Middle East. Yeah. And would you know, I waited till other creators said everything that I have said. So that if the US government tries to pick me up and put me in jail, I can literally sue for my freedom and go, boom, these people said it. My dad was a lieutenant colonel. Did you grow up in a cult? Yes, I think so. I've written 2 books on the military being a cult. I think all military brats, for example, have the cult baby experience of being sacrificed for the mission. No, your parent was in the military, you know what that was like. Being absolutely decentered and sometimes sacrificed. That being said, I think there's a very big difference for military brats between if your parents militarized the home and if they did not. So that is something. Hey, Karenina. I just from your name, I believe you. I also lived in Mexico very briefly, but you may have known my parents, Deb and Christy. My parents were there for a decade, Guadalajara, Mexico area, so they have a lot more places than that. Also, send me an email to admin@uncultureyourself.com because I would love to send you a signed copy of my book. I also always offer Children of God survivors a free seat in my book club if you are interested. Just drop in, drop out. We get together twice a month to discuss cult books. It's basically a survivor support community, but it's not therapy. I'm a organizational psychologist. Yeah, so it's admin@uncultureyourself.com. Just send an email and tell them I sent you, and Megan will wear you away, as we say in the military. What other cult books? Okay, let's see if I can go through it all. In my book club, the first 12 memoirs we read are Uncultured, which is my book. Educated. Uh, I took Glass Castle off, but Glass Castle is another very good one for like single family cults and also just Appalachia. Um, Scarred by Sarah Edmondson. Sorry, I'm just going to go through what I can remember. Walking Away from Hatred about white nationalism. Well Trained Wife by Tia Levings. Billion Years by Mike Rinder about Scientology, who just passed away recently. The Secret Practice by Joelle Tamraz, which you can get copies of in my other shop. I also did an audio reading of it, video reading of it because it's not an audio, which is in my Patreon. Um, we read Fourth Theory book, which is Cults in Our Midst by Margaret Singer. Take Back Your Life by Yanya Lalich. Terror, Love, and Brainwashing by Alexandra Stein. And we are now on The Sociopath Next Door by Martha Stout. And so basically 1 week we get together and we read a memoir, and the next week we um, do theory book. This is her book I would recommend on the art of writing a book. Um, there's a novel called Save a Cat Writes Fiction or something like that. That's supposed to be a really good craft book. I hired partners to help me instead of spending a decade working on my craft. I'm putting together a class about turning your life into a book and a brand and a story. It's really going to depend what kind of book you want to write. But if you want to get a memoir deal, there is a book that I recommend called The Byline Bible by Sue Shapiro, which is a very tactical book about how to get a splashy essay placed in a place that editors and publishers and agents read that shows you have range. And that was basically my process. Um, so yeah, but I suggest also, if you want to write a book, reading a lot of books in that field that are going to be what are called your comps, your comparison. Oh, bird by bird and writing down the bones. Okay, a lot of people. No, I think ABA is terrible and horrible, and I'm glad that it's mostly falling out. It's just teaching lots of good people to maths for other people's benefits, and yeah, I hate it. I hate it there. Oh, thank you so much about Uncultured. Quite proud of it. I'm excited to have 2 books to sell, but pretty much always gonna love Uncultured as my firstborn. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go upstairs soon and see if the teenager has awakened. No, the next book comes out January 20th, and the pre-sale information, The Culting of America era, will launch in uh, August 5th. It's gonna be basically like patriotic drag plus space stuff, because cults are always promising space travel. Got some excellent pieces yesterday. Um, chapter 5 does require whiskey. Yeah, sucks. Like I've read the whole book about 75 times, and I've only read chapter 5 times when I absolutely had to. Otherwise, I had my co-writers deal with it. But reporting it is not fun. Yeah, if you're reading Uncultured, you are part of the book club. You should come to the book club. I'm actually about to build because we're so first I did my book club just as a closed thing people signed up for at the beginning, and we did 12 books. And then when we moved it to Patreon, I did the same list again because it's such a good list. But now I'm going to make a new list. So in September, we read Tia Leving's A Well Trained Wife. I'm going to try to have signed books available for her on here from her. And then I'm going to make a new list of books. So I don't know what all of those are going to be yet. But I'll let everybody know when it turns out. That's how I know I'm not building an echo chamber because we read lots of other people's books. And I think that's a good thing for people to track and be aware of. Like, where do you get all your information from? Also, I've talked more and more about this. Like, the difference between a guru and an expert is an expert can tell you everywhere that their stuff came from. You know, like this idea when I was reading this book and this person says this, and I studied under this, and I blah, 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 and I honed my expertise through this. Same thing as an artist, right? Most artists can tell you exactly how they've honed their craft throughout their lives. Meanwhile, gurus are like, I was touched by an angel, and now I'm going to call myself the medical medium and heal you. No, 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 no. People don't even have independent thoughts. All of our thoughts are influenced by what's going on around us in the world. That's how thought clouds and thought streams and systems work. And it's very interesting because people do think that they have original thoughts, but we don't. So I love studying that kind of stuff. One of the books I have to read this year is it's called The History of Everything. I'm also reading A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, which is very important, I'd say. Very important things continue to break down a little bit, but y'all, I think what we're actually seeing is that American democracy is much stronger than we give it credit for sometimes. And it's shaky and it's cracking, but I think it will hold. I don't think Donald Trump can ruin America. And if he can, then definitely all our pride ever in this country has been misplaced. Somebody who was at the march, at the parade is like following me on here now and talking, and I'm gonna send them a book. But they were like, yeah, I was in the parade. We marched fat on purpose. People are like, weren't the soldiers terrified that they would get in trouble from their COs, their commanding officers? I'm like, no, the soldiers wouldn't have done that without knowing that it was okay with their commanding officers. That's why it was such a fuck you. At least one general and several colonels were okay with how that parade went off. Like, if it was just because it was national and for the president, there was probably a general who was at the top of planning it, but it could have been a colonel. Um, but yes, I think exactly this, Thrifty Book Girl. Like, I think we needed Donald Trump to be the president to expose just like all of the crap in America and wake up the white people and get us like paying attention to our government and to our world. And also, I think just good for us to realize how much the rest of the world does not like us because, well, we deserve it. Um, and I think that's pretty good too. It's always been weird to me because it's like no other country has this. Just like we're the best country in the world, only America. So I always say that to me, American exceptionalism is like a little girl whose daddy told her she was the prettiest girl in the room, but now she's a grown up and she still believes it, so nobody wants to hang out with her. A little bit problematic. All right, here's the newest love foam collar we're making. It's gonna look better when I get home and steam it. I put like 2 more rows of blues, I think. Oh, we're the best. Yeah, I mean, it's just like like there's great things about every culture, but if you're just like, "Oh, we're the best," is Zoran his first name? That's not what I've heard him called, the New York candidate. But yes, I'm very excited. They're very excited about it here in New York. So, yeah, well, if you like it, stay tuned on my other account. It'll probably be in my shop in a little bit. Oh, it's so much fun. New York City. Every time I get here at first, I'm like, it's so overwhelming. And then I'm like, okay, it's really fun. My new book will be in signed copies. Like all of the copies will be signed. I mean, I'm going to sign 10,000 sheets of paper and then they're going to be printed. Like the first print is going to be signed. If you get it from Delilah Get the Scissors is a good shirt. If you get it from me on social media, it's going to be signed. I mean, that's pretty much true of Uncultured right now. It's gonna be in far fewer regular bookstores though, because I'm doing an indie print. Um, but I do already think like Knitting Cult Mama Reddit. She's on TikTok, Grieving Next Door Mama, and she gave me her comments, but, like, most of her comments were just, like it's just, like, an additional layer of her deconstructing, and, uh, people liked the comments so much that now I'm like, "Oh, we're gonna have to do, like, a fancy edition that has Knitting Cult Mama's notes and probably White Woman's Whisperer's notes." Um White Woman Whisperer came to our event on Wednesday, which was lovely because I've had a podcast with her for, I believe, over a year now, but we had not met in person. So that was very nice. And we'll have a lot to talk about on our next Tuesday meeting. All right, I'm going to bounce. Thank you all for hanging out with me while I drank my coffee. And yeah, New York, New York.